Hey everybody, today is April 6th and we've got the pups out in their covered play area, and it's a good thing it's covered because today's weather is not that great. We've got some heavy thunderstorms on their way, and so we've taken the chance to give the pups some early playtime, and they've had a wonderful morning out having some fun, and they're all tuckered out now. The weather's not great right now. It's a little bit cool, so in the background you'll probably hear the heater fan going, so I apologize about that white noise that we have to compete with during a narrated video, but it is keeping things nice and warm and comfortable and happy for the puppies. So that's what matters. We'll just deal with the background noise as we have to. And you may hear our big dogs out. They're out getting some playtime too while the weather is cooperative. We got some bad weather coming here in a little bit, so they're out, and you'll hear them barking because they know we're here and they're out there and they want their attention. So anyways, so apologize about the background noise from dogs barking and the heater fan going. We'll just kind of deal with that as we have to, but the pups are doing great, and this is a great time to do the little preview of their personalities and up close look at their coat colors. Okay, hey everybody, we've got the puppies all tuckered out. They're laying down here at my feet, and we're just going to start with the girls and go through personalities and what their sizes are and some of their differences that way, and show you the most recent look at their markings. So we'll start with the list that we had at their introductory video. So this is in no particular order other than that first video that we put out when we first started tracking their progress with everything. So we're going to start off with Miss Pink here. I will pick her up. Sorry, I get to be the bad guy. So she was just finishing her nap, and now I get to wake her up from a nap and make her be on the video. So this is Miss Pink. At birth she was 1.12 pounds, and right now she's 5.26 pounds. So out of the girls, she is second place as far as size goes. Historically, this 5-pound mark is pretty average for our pups at 5 weeks old. So she's 5.26 pounds, and I will see if I can get her to look at the camera here and get a good face shot. So next I will try to show you her markings. So at birth she had very small marking on her neck, and you can see just the highlight of that here. So that's actually kind of her little Adam's apple that you're seeing for the most part in this shot. That's an Adam's apple right there. That's not a white marking. So her coat colors, and their coat changes quite a bit from newborn coat. This is what we call a puppy coat, and it's very soft. There's no adult kind of coarse adult hairs, and so on their tummies and everything it actually gets very thin, but on dominant markings we can see those. So can't see her very, very small neck marking, but we can see her large chest stripe. If I can get her this in the camera. So she has a cute little neck stripe, or chest stripe right there. And then right now with their coat being the puppy coat that they have, like I mentioned, is very thin. So we're not seeing any kind of marking around her groin area because there's just no fur right there right now. But we are getting her beautiful stocking feet. So she's got her heavily marked back toes that we can show you in the video here. And so that is Princess in Pink right here, Miss Pink. So next we'll go to Miss Yellow. Okay, we got Miss Yellow. She was just enjoying laying down and taking a nap right in front of the heater, staying warm out here in our little play area. And she had a little bit of breakfast still stuck to her nose. So let's see if I can clean that off here for this picture. Do some video with a clean face. I think we're good now. So Yellow at birth was 0.83 pounds, and right now she is 4.51 pounds. And so size-wise, she's smaller than her sisters and the smallest out of all of the pups. Historically, at this 5-week mark, as I was looking back through our notes on sizes and things like that from previous litters, we've had at this 5-week mark in the recent past, I didn't look back very far, we've had at least a dozen pups smaller than her at this age in the recent past. So she's definitely not like the smallest pup we've ever had at the 5-week-old mark, but she's small for this litter. And actually one of the reasons why I was looking back through that the lists of the other pups is because Mr. Red is just really big. He's over 7 pounds, and I was curious to see if he was a record breaker, because he is bigger than what I would consider average by a fair bit. But we'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, that's why I was looking at the records, and I was looking at Yellow's size compared to the others, and she's definitely not super small for 5 weeks old, but she is the smallest out of this group. So this is Miss Yellow. She's 4.51 pounds, and overall she is a solid pup. So she doesn't have the markings on her chest or neck, just the typical light fur, not a heavy thick fur. So it's a very thin coat right now on their chest, but we're not seeing any white hairs, and nothing on her feet or manifesting. So personality-wise, I should have mentioned on Pink. Personality-wise on Pink, she's kind of a middle-of-the-road pup, and Yellow is, out of the girls, I would say the lower side of the totem pole. Now Miss Yellow doesn't let her small size necessarily mean that she lets everybody push her around. She definitely can hold her own with her big brothers. They take turns wrestling and playing and munching on each other and biting and things like that. That's normal puppy behavior. But Miss Yellow, if I have to rank the pups, Miss Yellow of the females is kind of the low side of the totem pole, and generally a little bit more laid back and reserved. She's not anxious. She doesn't have like anxiety or anything like that, and she's not super timid or super fearful. She's just out of the group a little bit more reserved, a little bit more submissive. So that's Miss Yellow, and we'll go on to Teal. Okay, Miss Teal, you're up. Here we go. So this is Miss Teal out of the girls. She was biggest at birth, and she continues to be that with the girl list. She was 1.21 pounds at birth and 6.96 pounds currently. So she is a good sized female. For our average sizes, she's right up there in the top percentiles as far as our historical averages for females. And she has her, I'll see if I can roll her back here. She's got her small dot still on her chest for a marking, and right now we're not seeing the groin markings because there's just not a lot of fur going on. They just get a thinner coat at this age. She's still wearing a little bit of breakfast too. She does have her little tiny bit of a frosted back toe. I'll show you that up close if you can see that. Just a few white hairs on the back left. I'm not seeing any on the other feet at this age. And so she just wants to go back to sleep. Holy cow. You just want to be a sleepyhead, don't you? Yes, you do. So Miss Teal, out of the females, she would be what I would consider, she wants to be the leader of the pack out of the females. Out of the whole litter, I wouldn't say she's top of the totem pole, but if she could, she would. She definitely is more confident and assertive. I would not use the term aggressive or things like that for puppies and things whatnot that way, and I don't see any kind of aggressive inclinations out of any of these pups or something like that. They all go through this puppy phase of playing and establishing a little bit of a pecking order, and so they work out their hierarchy amongst themselves over time, and Miss Teal has worked out her position as leader of the females. And it's one of those scenarios where as pups go home, the hierarchy changes. So we'll see as a more assertive pup heads home, that the other pups kind of rise up and take those spots. So it's one of those things where we share personality and disposition insights, but we don't want to tell people that that is kind of a crystal ball or a set in stone prediction about what their personalities absolutely will be. It's more of an indication of where they have worked it out in their own little pack, their own little litter mate group, and they will fill the needs that they find in their new homes with their new families. So as they go home to their new families, they will establish their own hierarchy with your family about how they view everybody, all the other family members. And so establishing yourself as the leader and as the alpha in your home, and having all the humans take an alpha role with their puppy will be important to do, so that the dog assimilates into your family without trying to be the leader or call the shots and things like that. So that's just my personality 101 class for you. So while I was talking, Miss Teal just went back to sleep. Anyways, so this is Miss Teal, just a cutie. So big, cute girl. We're on to the boys now. So next we're gonna go with Mr. Blue. Okay, here we go, Mr. Blue. Sorry to wake you up. I know you're just having a wonderful nap, weren't you? I gotta be the bad guy and wake you up. So Mr. Blue, he was 1.27 pounds at birth, and he's currently 6.48 pounds. And we'll go over his markings next. So he has the small chest stripe still showing up, and on his groin area you could probably expect a slight groin marking. He does have, I'm just looking at some toes here. I'm not seeing anything on toes. We didn't notate anything at birth for him on toes. So Mr. Blue, personality wise, can you look at the camera? I know you just want to go back to sleep. Can you look at the camera? So Mr. Blue here, he was he's worked his way in the group to be a rather confident pup, and I wouldn't say he's the leader of the boys. He might fill that role if he could, but right now he's still a confident pup and likes to kind of throw his weight around, but he's not quite the leader. So a little bit of a middle of the road pup, but I would say right now he's number 2 on the totem pole as far as personalities go. So that is Mr. Blue, and he has gone back to sleep. Look at that little wrinkly cute face. Mr. Blue. Okay, off to Mr. Red here. Okay, here's Mr. Red. So we've got Mr. Red. At birth he was also 1.27 pounds, and currently he is 7.3 pounds. So at 5 weeks old, it's not super common that we get pups that will break that 7-pound mark. And here we've got Mr. Blue up in that 6.5 range, and Mr. Red at 7.3 pounds. So these guys are definitely at the large size spectrum at this age, and they kind of know it. So Mr. Red, he's worked himself up to be a little bit of the leader of the pack, and kind of the top of the totem pole, and he can kind of do that a little bit because he can throw his weight around a little bit more, but he's still very very lovable and very cuddly. He just loves his snuggle times and loves his attention from people. We find that he spends a lot of time around right by us when we are in the area, so he's very people oriented and affectionate that way. Wants me to hold him good, huh? You don't think I'm gonna drop you, do you? I think he's a little nervous right now. We actually hold him quite a bit, but he's kind of holding on for dear life for a moment. Mr. Red, so he's a big boy. We've had pups in the 7-pound range before, but it's been a while, and it's not super common for us to get pups above 7 pounds. So at 7.3, he might be one of the biggest pups that we've had at this 5-week mark. So he still has his small chest marking, it's a little patch there, and then he's got his groin markings that we can't really see at this time, but on his feet we've got his heavily marked back left toes and his more lighter marked back right. I think if I get him to the camera here, back right toes, and then I'm not seeing anything on his front toes, so just his back toes, which we will see rather frequently with our lines and whatnot. So this is Mr. Red, and he is just a hoot. So fun to play with and cuddle with and spend time with. Can you look at the camera for a minute? Let's see if we can get a good face shot. Here we go. How's that for cuteness? Mr. Red. Okay, we've got Mr. Brown coming up. We gotta wake him up. Say hello to the camera, Mr. Brown. Say hello. So this is Mr. Brown. At birth, he was 1.1 pounds, and right now he's 5.93 pounds. So he is the smallest out of the boys. Not the smallest, obviously, out of the whole litter, but smallest out of the boys, but not undersized by any stretch. He's still a good sized weight for this age, and apparently he thinks I'm tasty at the moment. He's gonna tell you what flavor I am. What flavor am I right now, Mr. Brown? My tasty flavors? Huh? I've been cleaning off a little breakfast off of your siblings. Can you taste that on me? Maybe. So Mr. Brown here, he's got his, we noted a very light neck marking. I cannot actually see it right now. If I look really hard under his collar, I don't see the white hairs that we saw at birth, but they may come back. So if I could give you a microscopic view of their coat color and coat thicknesses at newborn versus now, that would be interesting. Maybe I'll try that someday. He does have our notes about his slight chest marking, and let me see if I can tilt him back. His slight chest marking is not super apparent right now as I investigate, so you'll kind of have to, we've got it on our notes, you'll have to refer back to the introduction video. He's very, if he's got a marking there, it's very lightly marked, and then we've got a notation about a slight marking on his groin area and whatnot that way. So Mr. Brown, he has size-wise, he may be the smallest, but he's kind of middle of the road personality. Orange is coming up next, and out of the boys, we're putting Orange at kind of the bottom of the totem pole as far as disposition and hierarchy with personality inclinations right now. Oh, I'm getting some kisses. Oh yes, I'm getting some kisses. So Mr. Brown definitely is lovable. We do try to spend a lot of time with these pups and get them conditioned for human affection and time spent with humans. We really focus on it being positive interactions with the puppies and whatnot, so that they just have nothing but good to say about humans. Nothing but good to say about us all, so that when they go to their families, they start off on the right foot with how they view humans and everything else. So Mr. Brown, he's middle of the road personality at the moment. So, and he thinks I'm kind of tasty, huh? He does, yeah. Just a great pup. So, last but not least, coming up, Mr. Orange. Okay, here we go, Mr. Orange. You get to be the star of the show for a minute. Can you wake up for the camera? I know, you're just having the best nap after playing. You were. So Mr. Orange, at birth, he was 1.2 pounds, and right now he's 6.17 pounds. So good size at the 6 pound mark. And his chest, we had the notation of a very slightly marked chest, and at the moment that marking continues to be very, very slight. I'm having to hunt really hard to find the white hairs. I'm not seeing it, and so that's probably going to come back later with his adult coat. So right now we've got the notation about the very slight groin marking. I can see his very slightly marked back toes. He's got one toe on his back right that's heavily marked. I shouldn't say super heavily marked, but it's more marked. More than just a frosted tip of the toes. So that is Mr. Orange. He is a little bit more reserved and whatnot, so he's not the leader of the pack. He's not necessarily middle of the road. He's kind of one of the first ones to show deference and in his disposition with his interaction with his litter mates. But he does still throw his weight around and has good energy levels for Vizsla temperament and things like that. Still a wonderful pup and very great with us and the kids and the interactions that we have with him. So he is just a really lovable guy, aren't ya? So this is Mr. Orange. So that kind of finishes up the whole group with everybody. And we took some shots of colors and coat colors and things like that. So we'll show you some of that next. Okay, I'll probably talk and make these pups wake up. But we've got all the pups settled in and they are sleeping. This is our best chance to show you colors of their coat colors kind of simultaneously. We've got Mr. Red over here. He is the beach boy, little blonde, little lighter color than the others. And then we've got Mr. Blue. He is kind of middle of the road for the boys. And we got Mr. Orange. He is on the darker side of middle. And then Mr. Brown, he's the darkest of the boys. And then over here we've got Miss Yellow and Miss Pink and Miss Teal. So Teal is a little darker than Pink, and Pink and Yellow are very, 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 very close. So we've got those colors to show you. And Miss Brooke, she's got her little paw on Mr. Red. Hi, Brooke. I've got Brooke over to the side. She wants to be the star of the show every time, loves my attention, and will unceasingly beg for some scratches on her belly and everything like that if I don't keep her off to the side. So I've got her off to the side and she'll be just fine for the moment. I'll give her some loves after the video's done.